Hi everyone, it's me, Darlene. I have an idea, and I was starting to play with it, and I thought, why not turn the camera on and turn this into a quick video? So that's what I'm doing right now. I just cut a bunch of strips for my flash sale coming up this weekend. Please remember that you're probably watching this in the future when this is over, but those are what I cut. And when I cut a strip, let me show you with a different strip. I cut 2-inch strips, so I cut usually just a little bit on the end that has the folds, and then I cut a little bit on the end that has the selvage. So when I cut this selvage end, we get the 2 selvages for that particular fabric, plus we get a piece that's folded. This is what the selvage piece ends up looking like. And then this is the folded part, like that. This folded end gets cut really close to the end. So for that side, we usually get a little scrap that looks like that. Here's a bunch of those little selvages. I thought since I had so many, all in just mottled colors, that I'd try to make a quilt block out of that. But what I'm doing is I'm sorting them. And I think that I'm going to pull out the ones that have fuzzy edges. I like those, and I'm going to use them. But I think for this one, I'm going to use just the selvages that are not fuzzy, and only the selvages that have some white on them. For instance, some of these selvages don't have white. See, like this green? I'm putting those aside too. I'm also sorting and taking out all these pieces. Those do not get tossed, but again, just not using it for this project. So let me do some sorting. I was surprised to find that I had so many with the fuzzies, but I think I'll still put those aside. This is what I had for selvages that don't have any white on them. Then these are all the pieces that were on the fold, and you know, those make really nice pieces for crumb quilting, strip sets, you know, little strip sets like I've done before. Very cool. I have 42 of these selvages with the white, and some of them have just a little bit of white. They're not all the same size, so I'm going to try to make a quilt block out of those with fusible. And let me think about it for a minute. I played around with this a little bit, and I think this is going to be my block. Sadly, I didn't build it on fusible. I was going to just, you know, try to feel it out and then start on a piece of the fusible interfacing. But I went ahead and completed this, and I'm just going to transfer it on to a piece of the fusible. I ended up using 36 pieces, so I have just a few left. And I realized that by not including the fuzzies, I lost a lot of the colors that I could have been putting in here. But that's okay, there's enough variety. Let me cut a piece of the fusible interfacing. I'll be right back. I measured this, and it's a little bit bigger than 8 by 7. And so I cut a piece of this lightweight interfacing with glue on one side, glue side up. You can feel it, it's rough. And I'm going to put these on here. I don't know if I'm going to do it like a whole chunk at a time or just rebuild. But let me get started with that. I'm going to rebuild. Because I want to be able to place them just a tiny bit over the edge. And I'm just going to try to make them fit so that they cover the next edge, and I can adjust a little bit as needed because some of these are different heights. Okay, so that was easy. Now for the next row, let me just take this row off. Column, I should say. For the next column, I'm going to, I don't know, not like really overlap, but maybe overlap a tiny little bit. Just keeping it close, because I do want to make sure I can, you know, go out to the edge. Even if a little bit of the interfacing shows through, that's not really going to matter. Oh, do remember that when you're laying these out, start with the selvage toward you, and then put the next selvage on top. We are layering that way, so that way there's no raw edges at all. There are some raw edges here, but we're going to be top stitching, I'm assuming with zigzag over that. Can I get away with not adding that piece and just having this piece? I can. All right, let's pull that one out. That's good, all covered. Next. And with this column too, I didn't need to have all of them. Okay. Ooh, well, we're not going to the edge, but that's okay. I just won't put my iron on that. Is this pink the right way? I don't think it is. It was upside down. Not upside down. It was wrong side up. Okay, so let's put a blue there. Okay, we are all set. So now I'm just going to press this. Now I'm going to just trim this little excess off. Now I'm going to just press there so I can really get that edge pressed. It's surprising how big of a block you can make with even just tiny little selvages. Well, did I say? Yes, these are all 2 inches wide because I cut 2-inch strips, and you can do this, of course, with any width. But I like it because it's all different little pieces of color. Here's what I was thinking. Instead of going this way over every selvage, I think I'm going to do some lines just going down. These won't fray. So, gee, do I really want to do zigzag there or just a line? I was thinking of doing zigzag on the raw edges. And maybe that would be enough to hold it down, or maybe a zigzag in the center. All right, let me just start by doing a zigzag, and I believe I'm going to use my clear thread. I could use white. That would look kind of cool because of all the white. I'm going to use the white. It's already in my machine. So I'm going to do a zigzag, not too wide. I don't know. I'll be right back. That looks kind of cool. I like it very much. I was almost thinking of doing some in this direction too. Maybe the next block. I did want to mention that. Oh yeah, when you're sewing, make sure you're sewing in this direction. Like, don't put it this way where the foot can get caught under the selvages, especially when you're doing the raw edges, because I did that one time. I sewed this way and then I turned, and that was not fun sewing with those raw edges wanting to pop up. So sew always in this direction. And then I am going to add a piece of fusible here to the top, but I'm going to make this a little bit narrower. That's why I like to keep scraps of these, waiting for my iron to heat up. I have this ready. I put that little piece of stabilizer, I'm going to call it, because that's what I'm using it as. So I'm ready to trim, and after I trim, I'm going to just sew a straight stitch all the way around. That's a stay stitch. That will help the, these raw edges from coming apart. Now, if you're going ahead and using this in a project, you don't have to do that. I'm only doing it because this will end up on eBay, and, I don't want anything to be lifting, so I'm going to do a stay stitch just because that's going to be traveling, and I want it to get there all nice and pretty. Well, I don't know how pretty it is, but I like it. Okay, let me trim, stay stitch, and then I'll show you. That's it. I'm done. I like to sew the stay stitch on the back side. Normally, if I have my stabilizer trimmed to size, normally I will do the stay stitch first and then trim it, you know, just because, I don't know, that's just the way I usually do it. And I usually sew on this side because obviously if the fabric is sticking out, you want to sew on the stabilizer so you know you caught it. And then, and I do it like about 1/8 of an inch, where are you? Very close to the edge. So that way when it goes into a project, if you're doing 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, that stitching will be hidden. And that's it. I'm going to stop here. I really like it. I think it's super cute. Now, you know, you can do this with a bunch of different selvages, but I thought it was cool since I had a whole bunch of the same kind of fabric in different colors. I just thought it would be cool to do that, and I really like it. And I hope you do too. Thank you so much for watching. Oh, go look on eBay. I will have this as a penny auction at the time that I uploaded this. So go check it out. Maybe you can start your own sampler quilt with things you got from me. And just put them in a quilt. All these weird blocks that I come up with. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and I'll be back with more soon. Bye.